Hello and welcome to Nutshell Recaps. This video explains the synopsis of the movie That's My Boy. Warning, there will be spoilers, so proceed with caution. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, it will really help our channel grow. The movie starts in 1984. A high school student called Donny informs his classmates that he is no longer interested in girls. His married teacher, Mary McGarrison, is pretty attractive, therefore he no longer has to search elsewhere because he is only interested in real ladies going forward. Donny consequently asks his teacher out on a date, but that isn't the end of it. Donny is given a month of detention, but fortunately for him, that was merely an explanation. Poor Donny was lured by Mary, who had evil motives. They quickly begin having informal after-class meetings. Donny is living the good life, receiving many favors from Mary, including an A+ on his report card. However, like everything else does, everything comes to an end when they are exposed in front of the entire school during an assembly. While Donny receives cheers from everyone in the school, including some instructors, Mary exits the stage feeling embarrassed. Moving on, Mary is brought to court where it is shockingly revealed that she truly became pregnant with Donny's child. Nevertheless, the judge convicts Mary to 30 years in prison and orders Donny to raise the child once he reaches the age of 18. As a result, Mary is sent in prison while, surprise, Donny rises to fame for his accomplishments at such a young age. He receives invitations to red carpet events and TV shows, and he eventually obtains a TV show based on his life story. Most importantly, Donny reaps substantial financial rewards from his rising fame. Years later, things have changed and Donny is no longer relevant. All of the fame and wealth have vanished, and Donny is now trying to survive day by day. In addition, his accountant Jimmy has informed him that he owes the government 43 grand in taxes, which must be paid in a week or he will be sent to prison. But Donny only has $28. Jimmy decides to place a 20 bet on a fat man to win a marathon after having the wonderful notion to do so. Donny agrees. Despite not knowing his true age, Donny gave his child the name Han Solo and presumes that he has just turned 18. He left Donny after packing his luggage and hasn't spoken to him since. In contrast to his father, Han Solo is successful and engaged to Jamie. However, Han Solo is hesitant to announce their nuptials in the media because he doesn't want his father to recognize him. However, it's too late. When Donny later reads the newspaper, he realizes that Han Solo has lost a lot of weight and is now getting married. Donny is actually more surprised by Todd, Han Solo's new name, than anything else. Back to Todd. Todd's boss invites him, his soon-to-be wife, and her parents to stay in his mansion until the wedding. The house the aging mother of Todd's boss, who is exactly as eccentric as her son, lives with them. Next, Chad, Jane's brother, has taken time off from serving in the military to attend his sister's wedding. Todd finds Chad to be a stiff military officer with whom he has trouble getting along. Donny runs across Vanilla Ice as he meets with a TV show producer in the interim. It turns out that before Donny had a sexual relationship with Vanilla Ice's mother, he and Donny were closest friends. Naturally, Vanilla Ice is still upset about it and doesn't care much for Donny in the future. In order to generate some money, Donny begs Gerald, a producer, to create a TV show about him. Gerald tells Donny that no one is watching him anymore, but when he learns that Todd is an adult and Miss Mary is set to be free from prison, Gerald comes up with a scheme. If Donny agrees to film a video showing him and Todd seeing Miss Mary at the jail, he will pay him $50,000. Donny reluctantly accepts the offer despite still needing money, and he immediately meets Todd, who is astonished to see his father. It turns out that Todd had made up the fact that his parents were deceased because having Donny and Mary as parents would have been embarrassing for him. As a result, Todd claimed that Donny was merely an old friend. Donny begins to get along with everyone right away, and before long he is invited to the wedding and is even allowed to stay in the house. Later, when Todd asks Donny why he's there, Donny tells a falsehood that Mary is ill and needs to see Todd, but Todd doesn't buy it and won't let his mom see him. Then Todd explodes on Donny, accusing him of being a terrible father and essentially wrecking his childhood. Then, Donny requests from Todd that he give him another chance to be a good father. Later, Donny shows up at the cocktail party wearing a tie but no trousers, which causes Jane to phone Todd and let him know what is going on. After Jane introduces Donny to Todd's boss, they click right away. Donny's made-up tales charm everyone at the party, and one of them even recognizes him as the pupil who caused his teacher's pregnancy. When they recognize him, they ask about the child he had with his instructor. Looking at Todd, Donny remarks that his kid has turned into a rude individual. Everyone at the gathering knew Donny, but no one had any idea Todd was his son. Because Donny and Todd are so close, the best man for the wedding, who also happens to be one of Todd's coworkers, decides he no longer wants to be the best man. He asserts that Donny ought to serve as best man at Todd's nuptials. Todd objects, but Donny accepts the proposition right away. That evening, Jane tells Todd about Donny's book. Donny wanted the book to be a love letter to his kid. Naturally, this causes Todd to feel upset. The next day, Jane's friends accompany her to a baccalaureate celebration. Donny asks Todd if he's having a bachelor party, and Todd's friend responds that he's taken care of everything. But when Donny finds out that the party will also include a spa day, he is not happy. He claims that this bachelor party is the worst he has ever attended. Everyone agrees to go to the strip bar when he recommends it. Even Todd seemed to be enjoying himself at his bachelor party, so they would all have a great time. Everyone else is sent home by Donny so he can spend more time with his son. As a wedding gift, Donny offers Todd his mother's earring, but Todd's ear isn't pierced, so Donny does it for him and puts the earring in. Then Donny suggests that he and Todd go see his Uncle Vinny. Todd finally finds out who his Uncle Vinny really is, Vanilla Ice. The three have a wild night of drinking and meet lots of new people. Todd is thrilled and having a blast, and towards the end he makes the commitment to go visit his mother in jail. However, after their time together, Donny realizes he cannot use Todd for his own gain and tells Todd that his mother was merely acting ill to avoid having to meet him. Todd then goes to his room, thinks a doll is his fiancée, and begins making out with the doll. James learns the following morning that Todd had thrown up all over her wedding dress. She yells at him to clean everything up before the ceremony, visibly agitated. Even though Donny assures Todd he doesn't have to see his mother, Todd insists that he will do so after having Jamie's dress dry cleaned. Todd claims he wishes to give his mother another chance. While visiting the prison, Donny notices his son Todd waiting for his mother. Due of his impending wedding, Donny tells Todd not to waste time, but Mary visits unexpectedly. Despite being a few years older, she still has a great body. Donny and Todd arrive, and Mary is overjoyed to see them. Unfortunately, Donny and Mary had a heated phone conversation as a result of his excitement at meeting Mary. The TV producer suddenly appears in front of them, carrying a camera, and he starts speaking with Todd. Todd finally understands that his father was behind everything that occurred over the previous 4 days and had ill intentions. After returning to Todd's life, Todd storms away from Donny in a rage. While getting ready to depart, Donny overhears Jane chatting to Todd's employer Steve. When Donny looks into it, he discovers proof that Jane had an extramarital affair with the man in charge of Todd. During the wedding rehearsal, Donny tries to tell Todd about Jamie's affair, but Todd isn't interested in hearing about it. In the end, Jane admits that she was hiding so she could surprise Todd on the big day and that Donny knew exactly what she was planning. Donny exits the situation after realizing his error. While attempting to come up with a way to make amends with Todd, Donny keeps an eye on him. Donny decides to visit Jamie with 2 ice creams to make apologies with her after his buddies tell him to do so in order to please Todd. However, as he is leaving, he overhears Jane having a sexual encounter. Jane is having an affair with her own brother Chad when he sneaks into her room and witnesses it. He snaps a brief photo of them, threatening to tell Todd the truth. Jane offers to pay Donny in exchange for his silence because she is concerned that her secret might be discovered. Donny accepts the money the following day as a result of his desperation. However, Donny is feeling bad about his behavior as he sits in his home and realizes that he has the option of delaying the wedding if he so chooses. As a result, while Todd is saying his vows at his wedding, Vanilla Ice and Donny dangerously drive into the event and crash into Todd's car. When Donny interrupts the wedding at the last minute, Todd feels humiliated because he was all set to accept the marriage. When Jane learns that Todd was the result of a sexual encounter between a teacher and a pupil, she is outraged. Donny then refers to Todd as his son. Donny accuses her of having an affair with Todd, but Jane vehemently refutes the charge. However, Donny shows the check Jamie handed him to put him in his place. When Todd confronts Jane about having slept with Chad, Donny goes so far as to rip the check as proof that he values his son above money. Jane then tells Todd that she and Todd should still get married despite their imperfections. Because Todd finds it abhorrent that Jane was having an affair with her own brother, he tells everyone about Chad and Jamie. The entire wedding party is horrified by all that has happened. Then Chad admits that Jamie is to blame, and he adjourns after saying so. Because Todd thinks he deserves better, he refuses Jane's request, calls off the wedding, and boldly announces to the world that his father is Donny. Todd's employer must be informed of his desire to lead the organization as the following step. In addition, Todd learns via Vanilla Ice that his employer is having an affair with Jamie despite the boss denials. Todd reassures him that since Vanilla Ice and Donny had an affair with his mother, he has no reason to feel guilty. Todd no longer hates his dad after the two of them depart the wedding. Donny doesn't want any financial assistance from his son and believes that he should be held accountable for his conduct. Jimmy, Donny's accountant, enters just as the TV is turned on. Donny may have a chance to win the wager if the fat guy he staked his money on continues to make steady progress in the marathon. Unexpectedly, the overweight person wins the race by overtaking and defeating every rival, and instantly, Donny's 20 wager becomes a $160,000 winner. Donny does not have to go to prison, and the audience applauds and the credits roll.